بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على أفضل المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه الطيبين الطاهرين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. وبعد, in the Quran, two ayahs I wanted to share with you today, having to do with the concept of how we relate to ourselves. How do I see myself? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the first ayah tells us about ourselves. Are you valuable? Do you love yourself? You know this question, self-love, and many Muslims like, should I be loving myself? Shouldn't I be putting myself down? You know, what's my relation not with others? What is not my relation with Allah? What is my relation with myself? How do I view, how do I see myself? The first ayah that I think is very important, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِذْ قَالَ رَبُّكَ لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ إِنِّي خَالِقٌ بَشَرًا مِّن طِينٍ فَإِذَا سَوَّيْتُهُ وَنَفَخْتُ فِيهِ مِنْ رُوحِي فَقَعُوا لَهُ سَاجِدِينَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this ayah tells us about me, tells about myself, the creation of the humans. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says it began with an announcement in the heavens. Everybody should know something great is going to happen, something important is going to happen. And Allah announces to angels, those creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala of light that worship day and night, never disobey. What's an angel, right? Allah makes an announcement for them. I'm going to create a human, bashar. From what? From clay, from teen. But if I fashion him and I complete him, then I blow into him from me. Then all of you bow down in front of him. And I want you to notice what Allah is saying. My value, who I am, is not my body. This is DNA, clay, carbon, materials, right? Animals have that. Mountains have that. You know, it's like this is not who the human is. Allah says, I'm going to create him, I'm going to fashion him. Yes, I have a body. It's a part of me. That's not why I'm important. What did Allah say in the ayah? When there is something from me given from Allah. The ruh, the soul of the human being. That's directly from me. And when I blow from him that part, now that part is so important. That's why everybody, all the angels bow down in front of him. The value of a human being, brothers and sisters. I have something from Allah. And notice why that's different from secular psychology. My value is not based on me. I am valuable. You know what I'm valuable for? It's because I have a part, I'm Allah's creation. Allah gave me something directly from Him. My value is that gift, the ruh that Allah blew into me. My soul, that's a part from Allah, that's a gift. That is valuable because Allah is valuable. My relation with myself, in a very simple way, inni abdullah. As long as I see myself as that creation that Allah dignified, that Allah made angels bow, that's my value. My value has to do with Allah, my relationship with Him. Because Allah is great, because Allah is generous, because Allah gave me a trust, something beautiful, something divine, this heart that we have from Him. And that is beautiful and that is good because it's coming from Him, not because it's anything I did. That was before I was created. Has nothing to do with what I did. You know, no ujb, no self-admiration and arrogance, because it has nothing. That is Allah's generosity, Allah's beauty. And He gave it to me. That's the value of the human being. But now the question I want to share with you, sometimes we're given something that's valuable. Sometimes even materialistic things. You might give your son a new car or a new phone or something that's really good. But then your son would come to you and tell you, I'm so sorry, I messed up. You know, the new car that you gave me, I was lazy, I made an accident. It's junk. It's junk. It's not worth anything anymore. The value of the car is lost. The phone, I dropped it in water, it's not working, it's broken. That great phone that you got me is now, oh my God, it's worthless. Sometimes the human faces. Although we were created with that initial value, sometimes we make choices in our life. Sometimes and we say, I'm so sorry, I'm 60 years old, I'm 40 years old, I'm 30 years old, I really messed up. This valuable thing that Allah gave me, I trashed it. I was responsible, I'm admitting it. How do I view myself then? Does that mean that my value is gone? Does that mean that, no. Because Allah is generous. because Allah's forgiving. The second ayah that has a wonderful meaning. We all know this ayah, but there's a different meaning in it. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّ اللَّهَ اشْتَرَى مِنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ أَنفُسَهُمْ وَأَمْوَالَهُم بِأَنَّ لَهُمُ الْجَنَّةِ يُقَاتِلُونَ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ فَيَقْتُلُونَ وَيُقْتَلُونَ وَعْدًا عَلَيْهِ حَقًّا فِي التَّوْرَاةِ وَالْإِنْجِيلِ وَالْقُرْآنِ وَمَنْ أَوْفَى بِعَهْدِهِ مِنَ اللَّهِ. You know this very important ayah. Here Allah says what? Allah is willing to buy. Allah is buying something from you. You know ishtara, you know buying and selling. And that's very interesting. Ishtara min al-mu'minin, from those who believe, Allah's willing to make a deal with you. Allah's going to buy. You have something still valuable. See the value? If you have a house, I'm willing to buy that house for $3 million. It's valuable. And people are competing which one is going to get that house because you have offers. When something is not valuable, nobody wants it. You have no offer on anything. It's worthless. You just throw it in the jar. But here, who's buying? Allah. What do you still have? This part of me, my nafs, it's valuable. You know why it's valuable? Because there is a demand for it. Allah wants to buy it. Allah's willing to take it from me. Allah's offering. I'm still willing to take it. You think you trashed yourself? You know when you think I'm worthless, I've done so bad, I gave up on myself, I just so disobedient, I messed up, I have, mental disorders, I have, pathology, I messed up, nobody likes me and I deserve it. Even then, Allah said, and I am still willing because it's still valuable. This thing that's worthless, give it to me. I'm willing to buy it. I'm willing to buy whatever you have, whatever wealth, whatever property, whatever. And with what? What's the return? That I'm going to give you a kingdom that's bigger than the whole world. Al-Jannah. One word, Al-Jannah. The only question is the following. This has two angles. Am I willing to sell? Am I willing to sell? Isn't that a fair deal? That even if I'm giving up on myself, never give up on yourself, because up till my last breath, as long as I have my soul, this offer exists. Give it to me and you will have Jannah. You know why it's valuable? Because you can buy Jannah with it. You can buy a place where you can be with Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam with it. You can be with Allah with it. You can be in a place where there is no fear, there is no sadness with it. You can be in a place where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لَهُمْ مَا يَشَاءُونَ فِيهَا وَلَدَيْنَا مَزِيدٌ. You will have whatever you want, whatever you will, yours, with that self. That's why it's valuable. It's valuable again, not because there is someone who's willing to take it, who's generous, who's Allah. That's the value of the human being. No matter what I do, no matter what choice, no matter how you think that you are worthless, and people tell you you are worthless, or you're saying La ilaha illallah, Allah thinks that you're worth something. And Allah's willing to take it even if it's not as good. And the second part of the ayah that I wanted to share with you, I'll show you this. I have this phone. My kids make fun of me because of this flip phone. Do you want to buy that phone? No. Would you take that phone? No. What if I tell you, well, it doesn't function well, It's a 2G phone, so unfortunately reception isn't that great. Half of the time you won't be able to make calls with it. Do you want it? I don't think so. Now here is the part of the ayah that I wanted to share with you. If a person comes to me and says, you have a flip phone? That's a collector item. It's so khalas, because they don't make them anymore. That's a collector item. I'm going to buy $10 million. What am I going to say? What? $10 million? Now, what's my reaction? See, what is this? This is the part this means what? Sallimt. Are you willing to deliver? Are you giving it to me? Yes, take it. Take it means what? Sallim. Notice the word sallim. Deliver, sallim. Surrender, submit, surrender the merchandise. Give it to me. What does it mean? Doesn't belong to me anymore. Am I willing to take the $10 million? If the answer is yes, and I give that person the phone, whatever he does with this phone is none of my business. A transaction is that way. I take the $10 million, I'm happy, Ya Rabbi, with that. I'm happy with that price. Take the phone. You throw it, you put it in a museum, you give it to your son to play with. None of my business. So when I'm delivering something to that person and I say, okay, here is your phone, I'm going to open it, I'm going to rip it apart, and what are you doing? You're destroying the phone. It's not up to me. What he does is what? Up to him. I gave it to him. I gave it to him and I'm happy with the price. So do whatever you see. But here is the generosity of Allah in that example. The phone is not working, the phone is 2G, it has no value, you give it to that person and he says, okay, give it to me. I'm opening it, I'm ripping it apart, it's bad. And you find I'm pulling a port out from it. What are you doing? Oh, I'm changing the semiconductor parts. I'm going to make it a 5G phone. And I fix it, and I fix all the screen and everything, and then I say, okay, here is your $10 million, and here is your phone back. I just wanted you to give it to me so I can fix it for you. But unfortunately, I had to give you a price for that. Because if I tell you, give me the phone for nothing, you wouldn't believe me. So I had to give you $10 million and all what I wanted. Give me the phone. I'm not really destroying it. Yes, it looks like it, but I'm not. I'm fixing it. And when I'm fixing it, guess what happens? Take the $10 million, take your phone. Allah's the same way. This nafs of mine that I think is worthless, full of problems, full of... And I try, and you go to, psychologist, and I'm trying to fix it, and I have addictions. Allah saying, give it to me. Surrender. Submit. Submit means accept what I do with it. Don't worry, I gave you a price. Jannah. But it's based on what? That this is mine. Don't ask me what I want from it. And guess what? You give your heart to Allah, and you say, yes, Ya Rabbi, do whatever you want. What does He do? He fixes it and tells you here is a new heart. Go, take Jannah and take a good heart and live with both. This is what Allah is offering. And the ayah says that. Those people that Allah says, give me yourself, sometimes He asks us to do things we don't like. Because what did the ayah say? يُقَاتِلُونَ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. Surrender and submission, brothers and sisters, my final point isn't passive. Because when we heard the word surrender and submit, oh yeah, it means I sit home, do nothing. When Allah tells me submit, give me yourself, it means what? Give me yourself. I command you to go to fight. Submission means what? Hadir ya Rabb. I command you to go stand in the Hadir ya Rabb. I decree that an illness befall on you. Ya Rabbi, make me patient. Ya Rabbi, help me. Allah's decrees and Allah's commands, do I submit to them? Am I willing to do this transaction with Allah? This is what makes me valuable. Therefore, قيمة المرء ما يطلب ليس قيمة المرء ما يحسن. Your value is not how good you are and what good things you do and what's your skills. With Allah, your value, what are you seeking? Did you do that? Did you submit to Allah? I have this thing that wallahi, no matter how things are terrible in life, how terrible my relations are, please remember that. You are valuable. Not because I am valuable, because Allah is generous. My value is Allah's generosity. My value is Allah's forgiveness. My value is Allah's willing to accept me with this transaction, even if I'm broken. Even if everybody tells me you're no good, Allah's saying you are good, I'm willing to buy. And there is a great price in this life and in the hereafter. The only thing left is what? Give it, deliver it, let me fix it. Let my decrees and my commands submit. And you'll get it in this life, and you'll get it in the hereafter. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us among the people that go into that transaction with Allah. I ask Allah to inspire us to submit and surrender willingly in this life to all His commands and all His decrees. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to fix all our ailments and all our mental anguish. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the best in this life and in the hereafter. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك.